Hey guys, happy Thursday. I am actually coming to you today from Lake Arrowhead. It is actually Wednesday when I'm recording this, so you guys are going to be seeing this tomorrow, Thursday morning. And I came here to this gorgeous cabin for a photo shoot and actually had arranged to be able to stay for 2 nights here as well right after shooting. So it's been a great little escape. Granted, it's a working vacation, because I'm uploading a lot of files to the editing course, which come hell or high water will be out by March 5th. So keep an eye out for one of the many reminders that I'm going to be sending out to you guys. So this week I wanted to share a quick little tip about working between Lightroom and Photoshop. And this is something that I actually shared with one of you guys, one of the Grovers, a few weeks back, and it sort of came up in conversation, just messaging. And she wrote back after I gave her this tip. She wrote back, she's like, "Oh my gosh, I tried this and it is life-changing." And I thought, well, it is pretty amazing, but if it's really life-changing for her workflow, I'm sure it's going to be helpful for a lot of other people. So I wanted to show you essentially how to go from Lightroom to Photoshop without having to actually export files from Lightroom, open them in Photoshop, and then re-import into Lightroom. So the good thing is that because everything is Adobe, it all works together. So here we have the library module in Lightroom, and this works really well for blending. Now when you do this, you're going to want to do this transferring of the photos over to Photoshop and then back to Lightroom before you do your Lightroom edits in the develop module. So this is something that if you want to make any changes early on, it's perfect for blending layers together. So here's the example we have. We have these two layers for one shot. Now you select both and then you right click or control click, edit in, and then all the way down to open as layers in Photoshop. Now when you click that, it's going to automatically take you over to Photoshop. Hopefully it does that. There we go. It's a little bit slow, but it's doing it. It's going to take you to Photoshop and it's going to open both of those photos, but it's going to open them together in the same new document as separate layers. So here we have a brand new document. It's actually got the file name of one of the layers. But it's got both layers in it. So if I turn this top one off, there's my other one. And then once I make my changes to here, then I go to Save, Command S or Control S, and you'll see that it changes to a Photoshop file. And once it finishes saving, so it's going to take a second to do that. Once it saves it, this new Photoshop file is actually automatically added to the library in Lightroom. So it finished saving. We're going to close this. We go back over to Lightroom. And here we have now that Photoshop file. And it's going to bring in the same markings. So it's already flagged. It's already color-coded red. Whatever you have set up during your calling, it's going to already have those markings. If these original photos have a star rating, then the new one will have the same star rating. So all the same stuff. And this Photoshop file will be your blended file. And the great thing is you can go back and edit in Photoshop and it will ask you what version do you want to edit. And so it's really a great way to go back and forth between Lightroom and Photoshop. Just be aware that once you create this new blended photo, if you make any changes in the develop module and then say, oh my gosh, I need to do this one thing or fix this one thing on one layer, if you go back to that Photoshop file and adjust one of the layers, you're going to lose the Lightroom edits that you did in the develop module. So that's why I say it's a really good thing to do for blending layers before you get into all of the other edits. But before doing this, I used to export my 2-layer photos and save them as JPEGs, open them in Photoshop, blend them, save them as a new file, go back to Lightroom, import that new file, and then do my edits. And it was a pain in the butt, and it created a whole bunch of extra files for me on my hard drive. So this is, for me, a huge time saver, a huge space saver in my hard drives, and hopefully it'll help you guys with your workflow. I also want to mention this format of the video is exactly the format that you have in all of the videos of the editing course that's coming up. So hopefully you guys like it. I wanted to be able to talk to you guys while still showing you what I'm doing on the screen, because there's no better way to learn than to see it and be able to follow along and do it yourself. So I hope you guys like the format. This video this week is just for you guys. It is privately published to YouTube. It's just a little secret for you Grovers, and I hope it's really helpful. I cannot wait for you guys to see the full editing course, and I will talk to you guys again next week. Thank you, and have a great week, guys.